Hello, my name is Gwen, and today is Saturday, April the 29th, and it's about 5:12 p.m. Today I'm going to do an addendum to my black-owned businesses recording that I did a few days ago. I'm going to do an addendum to the covenant that I talked about in that video. If you haven't already seen it, please go look at that and then come to this one, because what I'm doing is building on that one that I've already made. And forgive me, please, because I just touched my microphone and it probably made a weird noise. Sorry about that. So I want to go. This shouldn't be very long, and so I'm gonna do a quick overview on the first part here. This is where I discuss that about the distinction between a black-owned business versus a black business. A black-owned business versus a black business. We might find better words to express that distinction, and I welcome anybody's view on that topic, but we do need to make a distinction between a black owned business and a black business. Now, before, when we were talking about these terms, we were using them interchangeably because there was never a need for a distinction. But for now, we do need to distinguish. And so now, I'm reading off a Word document, so you might hear me clicking and things like that. Now, for this distinction, I want to say that, and yeah, so I'll just talk about the distinction first. A black-owned business is where the black person is merely the figurehead that owns the business. A black-owned business is merely the person that owns the business. Okay? A black business versus a black owned business. A black business, this distinction is this. The black person only not only owns the business, but also has black management staff and has hired black people. Okay? One is a figurehead, and the other one supports the black community by hiring black people. The figurehead is a black owned business. That is, they only own it. Okay, they only own it. But the business management staff and people look like every other business in the country. They got white management staff and primarily white people in the business. And most businesses do have a mix of people, but what I'm talking about for a black business is that they need to have almost 100% black management, if not 100%. I prefer 100%. And if you don't have 100%, then you got somebody in the wings that you are training up to be in the management to replace whoever is not black. Really, really. That's the way it works. That's the way it works for everybody else's businesses and cultures and communities. So you either have to, for a black business to be a black business, in my mind, they need to have primarily black people running it, not a figurehead, not a black person that owns it, getting kicks out of telling white people what to do by having an all white management staff. There's a lot of black people that still have that I get to tell white people what to do syndrome, and they look at that as power. That's not the thing. White people will ingratiate you right down to your toes as they suck the community dry, and they'll let you think you're getting somewhere. You're not getting nowhere. That's a joke. They're making a fool out of you. They'll grovel and scrape and bow, and while they siphon everything you got. So that's just stupid. Anyway, black owned business versus black, and where I'm find my place again. So I was talking about white being a figurehead. Now the other one, a black business, is what supports the black community by hiring black people. The management staff is black, the priority black, and they recognize the need to support and circulate back black dollars. That is, when black people go in there to buy stuff, they buy it from black hands. and they see black people working there making money by being hired by this black business. Now, my other tape, yeah, my other recording, when I talked about black business, one of the main reasons I clicked off of the business website that I was there looking at was because when I clicked on the website, I saw all white people. As soon as I saw all white people, I clicked off because I wasn't interested in doing business with them. But I didn't feel at the time there was a need to distinguish it. But now I do. So that's why I'm making an addendum to the covenant that I discussed in that previous one, where it was a two-way street, where there are things that the black business has to do and the things that the black community has to do. We both need to do things to make the black community thrive and circulate these black dollars so that we won't have a drain of resources out, but a way for these resources to stay in the community so that we can all grow and build. That's why I'm making this. That's why I'm talking about this sort of thing. So the black business recognizes a need to support and circulate black dollars. Now, I know that a few days ago they had the big Shea Moisture controversy, and I listened to all the explanations they got to say about it, and da da da, but I don't care. And so what I'm going to use the Shea Moisture situation as a case in point, because they're not the only one. As I investigated a little bit further, when I heard about the Shea Moisture situation, I found that they weren't nowhere near the only one, which is what prompted me to want to make this distinction and to make this recording. So I'm going to use them as a case in point because it is a perfect illustration of the differences. The Shea Moisture staff was primarily white, although it was owned by a black man. That is, the black man had the highest share in the company. And they sold a big share of their company to Bain Capital. Let me talk about the bloggers for a minute. There were bloggers that were talking about it as soon as they did it, but nobody was listening. I wasn't. I didn't know, and I wasn't paying attention. Didn't It just never occurred to me to even think like that. But there were people who were already on the radar speaking on that. I wish I had known then because I would have just, wrote them off early on. But now I got Shea Moisture products on my shelf that I wish I hadn't bought. So they're managed, but when you look at their management staff, all you saw was white faces, which is a stupid situation when you're talking about a product that was built by black dollars. That's who spent their money on their product. You see, Shea Moisture Products is a good product for black hair care because it managed to combine the need for oil for black hair as well as moisture for black hair. And so finally we got a product that could do both, and it made our hair easier to manage and control and to and healthy. Not only that we were able to manage and control, it was also a healthy hair product. It helped us stop with the hair breakage and the wrestling with it, and it made it look nice, and it was felt healthy. It grew strong, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that was a positive thing. White people already have hair oil that comes out of their scalp, so they don't really need an oil-based product. Many times they might need a moisturizer, which is water, but they don't really need oil. So it's rare that white people need oil. That's why in the black hair care section there's oil everywhere, because oil doesn't really secrete from our body naturally. Only place that oil actually secretes out of our body is on our face, and that's the parts that are in direct contact with the sun, because so we might have oil on our forehead, nose, and cheeks. The rest of the oil that you see on a black person's body is something they put there. So we always have to lubricate and oil up. We have to moisturize and oil our skin and hair. So when we found Shea Moisture products and products made with that similar mix that are on the shelves and black owned, we were happy because it was a good product that worked for us. Okay, so that was a good thing. There was nothing wrong with that. I was happy to use it because it worked. Uh, The reason why I'm saying it's a stupid situation because there's a better way to expand your market. And I get that you want to expand your market. The way that I would suggest to some commercial to have done that would be having a white lady say walk down the aisle at a grocery store, and she's passing, and she's already put her white hair care, the normal hair care products in her basket, and she's passing by the quote ethnic section, and she happens to notice something talking about moisturizer, and she sees a Shea Moisture bottle on the shelf. She looks at what it does, and and she looks at her hair, and in this case she's going to be shown to have dry brittle hair, all that how the straw like hair white ladies get when it's real dry and badly conditioned. And she's looking at her little badly conditioned hair strain and looking at the moisture and the ingredients in Shea Moisture, and she goes ahead and put the bottle in her shelf, and she might pick out another item that looks like something that she wants done to her hair. Then it cuts to the scene cuts to her, say, getting in the shower to wash her hair, and you see her lathering up with the Shea Moisture bottle, and she set that down. You can tell she's washing her hair with it. And then you see where she's finished and she's looking at the difference in her hair, and she's happy about it. And then the caption could be saying something like, well, who would have thought? Something like that. You just expanded your market. You've shown white people that it might work for them too. Because I'm sure that there is possibly properties in Shea Moisture that would help a white person with dry, brittle hair. I would like to see, and if it actually does make their hair look better and feel better, then there's nothing wrong with that. But show it in those terms. The way they did it is insulting. It was insulting in the presentation. And I'm going to say I also left the company too. I won't buy their products again. I would get my money back if I could. If I could take my little half-used bottles or partially used containers and give them back to them and just get my money back, I would, because I wouldn't want to use it. Right now, I have Shea Moisture on my shelf, and what I found I've been doing over the past few days is not using it. And I was planning to just use it up to finish it out because they already got my money when I bought it. So I'm not hurting them if they already got my money. All I'm doing is wasting my money because that's an expensive product. And what I did buy did work well enough to use it, and well enough to have, if it hadn't been stupid, I probably would have thought about buying it again. It's not as good as some of the others that I have, but it certainly is very good. The products I have, four or five containers of Shea Butter products, plus two shampoos and one conditioner. So I've got a lot of Shea Moisture products. But if I had a way, I wouldn't use them. Uh, so what I'm doing though, what I found myself doing is avoiding it. I'm skipping over it on my shelf. I'm not using it. Since that, I'm reaching past it, and I got to use that up. But my hands won't let me pick it up. So as a result, I've got that stuff sitting on there, probably going to dry and cake up because I keep avoiding it. And I'm so disappointed in them. I'm not even sure if they weren't purposely sabotaged. That is, that management staff is primarily white, but only thing they're going to do is lose their job. He's going to essentially lose his company. And since he made the choices he made, I don't care. He's not a black business. He is a black owned business. He is not helping the community. He is helping white people. That's the same problem we got with other businesses. So that's why I'm saying there's a distinction. He didn't hire black people to manage his company. He hired white people. So let Becky and them and his white friends all sink or swim together. There are black people who will probably continue to use his product, but he won't get my dollar. I'm not. I'm not going to spend my money on him. There's a lot of black women who will not be spending their money on them again. And finally, I'm going to say this little chapter on Shea Moisture. The women who are blogging about Shea Moisture, you got to understand, they're speaking from their heart and their opinion. But what they're not doing is asking for permission. They are not asking permission. They don't have, they all know that they will buy products after as they will, and they are not asking anybody to give them permission to not buy Shea Moisture. They're just speaking on how they feel and from what's in their heart, just as I am. Um, well, if you have listened to even one or two of mine, you know I'm not asking permission. And I could stand on the planet by myself and be all by myself and whatever I'm thinking and still think everybody else is wrong but me, because I will have decided I was right about whatever I'm talking about. So, and if I listen to you and hear all of your arguments about whatever your position is, and I still bend the other way and look at it a different way than you do, I'm not going to think I'm wrong. So I don't have a problem thinking what I think if I listen to everything that you have to say about whatever it is. I'm going to think that you are wrong and it's just a matter of time before you figure it out. And so only way that I change my mind is there's new information, and that new information has made me look at it differently. Like I'm doing now, there's new information, so I'm addressing that. But yeah, these black women aren't asking your permission about that. If we decide that the color of the box offends us, and we decide we're not going to buy it no more because we don't like the label, so be it. Okay? But right now, I'm just saying that I don't like the idea of Becky deciding my hair care products and how to do that and having an opinion about my hair. And I don't like the idea of a black owned business holding itself out to the black community as something that's helping the black community when it's not. That's the main thing I wanted to put out about that. I wanted to make sure that there's a distinction between a black owned business and a black business, and that we are supporting black business. I advocate supporting black businesses because they know that this support is a two-way street. Okay? So that's the main thing I wanted to put out there. And I'm trying to keep this under 20 minutes. Yeah. Um, so, and, so the addendum to the covenant is that black business has to support the black community. We need to spend we spend our money on your business and you hire black people. You support the black community and recognize that this is a two-way street. That is a covenant, that's a new addendum to the covenant between the black community and black businesses. And I'm saying black businesses versus black owned businesses. If anybody else listening can find a better way to put that, so be it. And you have my support. Just make a blog about it, and we'll try to get on the same page with the same wording. But this is my wording for this, and it's open to change as new information comes in from other people. So, but there it does need to be a distinction of some sort between a black-owned business and a black business, or a business that helps supports the community versus a business that's a figurehead. Okay, so that's all I have to say about this one. Thanks for listening and on that one, and I'll see you next time.